Well, good morning. Look at that. I have a downvote before it even started. That's funny. That really is. And that's okay. There's a lot of varied opinions. That's for sure. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the link up here and we're going to post it. And then the second thing we're going to do, before I even say hello to all the people that are here, I think that I want to make sure that everybody understands what is in reality happening here. This is not a pile on situation. I'm counting on moderation to keep the comments in the comment section civil, and I'm counting on the comments in the comment section to be related to the topic. So let's not get weird about this. Let's not get rude about it. We just don't need it. It's not necessary. This is actually a social experiment more for me than anything. Is that can we actually do this? Is this the way we should be doing these type of debates? Is this the way that we should ensure that these debates don't go off the rail? That these debates um, don't go stupid crazy. I don't want people jumping in here and downgrading other channels. All right. We really and truly don't. And as Miyagi said, the ground rules are simple. Let Mike and John debate. And to give you an idea, all right, although it's not applicable at this point, let's see here. This is sort of what it'll look like, and each of them will have a timer, and their timer will cut off at 3 minutes unless they say to me, "Hey, I want more time." Would guest number one, I want more time, and guest number two agrees, yes, we need more time, and so I'll adjust the timer. At the end of that timer, if they don't give way to the next person, okay? If they don't give way, then quite frankly, I'll just mute them and hand it over to the next person. So that is where we're at with it. All right. And I've invited Expat Ian to come in so that John won't feel it is biased, that he will have somebody moderating on his end as well. I have Miyagi, and I have a couple of others invited. So we'll see what happens, and I hope that for those of you that are watching, that you'll appreciate the effort that we've put into this, because really and truly, the debate between Mike and John is simply what it is. All right. But is this the way that these debates should go down and be done? Is this the way that we stop people from rambling, but making and proving their point? I think that that's an important aspect. And there's a lot of interest in this. I mean, here we are 4 minutes in, we already have 55 people. All right. So, that's just the bottom line. Um, um, you know, what that's what we're trying to instill. Now, while we're waiting for the major participants to show up, all right, if someone else would like to join the chat and discuss it on the panel, well, that's fine. I'm happy to allow that. We can do that right now. So there's the link. You can join up and we can chat about it, and you can talk about it, and we can just go forward. So anyways, with that being said, I do hope that everybody is here, and thank you. I've got Miyagi, Mike is here, Mogman is here, Hoppa, Moon River, Dave, Man, USA Always. God, we've got so many people here already, watching. El Hero. Let's see who else we've got. Sharky. And if I miss you, I apologize. Gen X Ben. So Miyagi, how's the snow over there in Japan? You guys are doing okay, I hope. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, Smoothly is here also. Now, how can I... So I don't have that on the run option. That I don't like. Okay. Hoppa, Miyagi, Dave. Y Travel is here as well. So, also in a debate, don't ask false accusations without proof. Yes, it's live from New York. It's Saturday Night Live. Well, it's something, Michael. It's Sunday morning live here. I need some good old Mike philosophy. Magandan Mark, welcome. Loving the Philippines. Yes, I doubt some can be. I doubt that some will be. There are going to be some toxic people. You can't stop them from coming in, but we can quiet them down. That's not a problem. All right. Just Facts, welcome. Terry Tucker, cheers from San Diego. How you doing? Smooth, we need to meet. I'll be in Vegas in March. Yeah, that ought to be fun. I would like to meet Smooth. I really would. Oh. Chippy Whisk. Oh, crikey. How you doing, Chippy? Glad you can make it. And Pablo has made it as well. Oh, USA Always heading to Anchorage. Nice. 84 degrees in Tacloban. Yeah, it's a partially cloudy day up here in Angeles. Scott Webb will be there March. Can't wait. Great. We look forward to you getting here. We really and truly do. So if anybody would, I meant the debaters. That's what Mogman says. So Anchorage mid-June is some choice weather. I don't know. I would imagine it's certainly going to be better. Oh, Mike is joining. Let's cue him up. We're going to assign him guest number 1, and we're going to jump over there. How you doing, Mike? How are you?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm good. Did you get some sleep? You were up late last night.
I was up late. I was like, let me have a couple of beers. I was like, let me have a couple of beers. It's been a week since I last smoked, and I was like, I'm smoking.
I figured, it's like what, 2:00 in the morning when you ended the live or something like that. Yeah. I figured you'd be in bed.
No, I was up a little bit. I mean, I'm up till like about 3 o'clock in the morning sometimes, so it's all good.
Oh, good morning, Brent. How are you?
76 in the building. Amazing.
Yeah, 80, and I've got my Ecamm shows 80, but we're lagged a little bit, so you probably have
It's
a better count. Um, but yeah,
good.
no, and I'll be interested to see how this works, if it works,
Yeah.
if John shows up. Okay, if we can do this. Um, from a technical point of view, that's what intrigues me a little bit more than anything. Ace Bachelor Cool dropping by just did a video on having the poop squirts. All right. That and his favorite ATM is down. That's pretty bad, Ace. Your favorite ATM is down, and you had to do a video on Montezuma's revenge. Sorry to hear that.
That's why you got to have Imodium and Lamodal, man.
Yeah, well, that's what he said on his whiteboard. That's for
Lamodal
sure.
and Imodium, man. And then what guys don't understand is when they're in the Philippines, they go, I don't drink any water, right? They say they don't drink anywhere. They don't drink the service water. They drink the filtered water. But what a lot of guys forget is that when you take a bath and you open up your mouth when you're showering, it enters your oral mucosas, and you actually ended up swallowing water. You just did not know.
Yeah.
So if so when you're taking a shower, have your head away from the shower head so you can control the narrative. So you just putting just a couple drops of water in your mouth, that's good enough to be able to build the bacteria.
You only need a little bacteria.
Amoebas, exactly. Amoebas, whatever protozoas that that's going to start causing chaos for you.
Yeah. No, and then there's the ice too. A lot of times people forget the ice.
Yeah, and then there's that thing that they believe it's like if it's clear ice, it's good ice. If it's white ice, because it gets white in the middle, then it's the bad ice. No, ice is ice. It's just water, right? So you got to watch that out as well.
Yeah. Ice is usually made from tap water too. Yeah, Mogman, it is. Oh, 91 in the room, and we're waiting on John. If we don't get John, then we will open the panel up even further and we can discuss where we go from there.
Yeah, I agree.
And then and when that's done, it's done. I mean, everybody gets to say their piece, but we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, he during the live yesterday, he tried to show up. I mean, like all of a sudden he comes back in. I mean, he was like in the chat when he left.
Right.
When he ran away. And then comes back later on saying, okay, I'm ready to cam up again. I'm like, no. I'm like, you don't do that.
Well, no, not at 2:00 in the morning. You've had your piece, and that's why I said, you know what? I'm happy to sponsor it the next time. All right. Did Ace's 19-year-old whiteboard? There we go. Did Ace's 19-year-old whiteboard girl give an accurate description? I don't know. A lot of people will tell you many times we will open a video and play it because it's somebody that we know, but we may not pay a lot of attention to it, or we just pay it to help out their channel. So Trade Winds is here. Where is Big Bad John? Currently, I'm sure he's watching. Or he may not be. Who knows? But, the invitation is there and he knows it. Why travel? What? No ice in a glass of beer? Chuck, the debate is really, 107 and John still not here. People are waiting, John. So please do show up. Chuck, the debate is really simple. John has an opinion and has presented statements on his opinion, and Mike has an opinion, and he discounts some of the statements that John has made. And then there are other factors involved. In fact, Mike, why don't you explain what your side is?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple on my side of things. For me wise, I was aware, maybe seen a couple of his videos prior to that live of yours. And when, you guys had the little back and forth stuff, I mean, he was doing ad hominems, using, you know, trying to pretend that, oh, it's just tongue in cheek, using, pretty much just how women will kind of make fun or attack another person, you know, talking about body parts, talking about descriptions of somebody rather than having a logical attack on things. And so when he was at that live of yours and then all of a sudden he started talking, there was so many discrepancies that he was doing. Um, and it got to the point, especially the argument was, and the worst part about it was just like about budgets. I mean, this whole thing started off with just budgets. And and no matter what, it was like we're saying, look, there's both ways. And when their explanation is like, okay, if you have this much amount, which is a higher amount, it's going to be better for you. You're going to be more prepared. Why are we discussing that? If you have more money, that you're going to be able to be live a better life. Well, the reason for that is because that's just how life is. So as men are getting themselves ready and preparing, that doesn't mean that you can't start earning more money, saving more money, being prepared. And he's always like, well, you can live at 1,000. An actual matter of fact, you can live at 35, $1,000. As a matter of fact, you can live at 35,000 pesos, which is like $650. And and he's just always when people start talking about more than 1,000, he gets offended and starts calling guys being entitled, the ivory tower excuse that he used on you and he's used on me. And in that live, he says in the beginning, right, where he says, "Why would I get married? So and so." Start saying all that stuff, and then later on, I'm like, the way you had so many discrepancies, I literally said, "Okay, are you married?" And he says, "Yes." So in one live, there's already a big problem that I have already for him. And and he was doing his long-winded stuff with you, and I just shut up. I said, "You know what? I'm just gonna let this be." And I made my video follow up on things, and I said, "Well, this is how I see things. This is my reaction." And it's just unfortunate that he always tries to play the victim's card, and he always was trying to then say, "Okay, here we go again." And he likes to use this whole thing where, like, it's funny how he thinks that using and saying "these Americans," right, is supposed to make us feel like we are lower than him, right? And that is far from the truth. So I just made my reaction videos, and of course, he went at it again and just used once, call me little boy, little Mikey, made a comment on me, said I had mud in my face and stuff like that. But that doesn't really affect me as much. And so he did that, right? And and then on the same video, he also was then, "Come on, Mikey, right? Come on, Mikey boy," is what he said. He goes, "Are you?" He pretty much said, "Are you scared? Like, let's, come, let's do a live. Are you scared?" And I answered him right away with a post, say, "Okay, we have the live set up. Show up." Right? And so he did show up. And then that was where the discussion is. But what's funny that happened to him is that it's supposed to be a discussion between two human beings, and he apparently ended up bringing backup and bringing his woman. And I'm sorry to say, like, it's a conversation between two people. Now you need your woman to back you up. And of course, just as anything else, you could tell that what she was upset on was the people on his own YouTube channel. Call me a bar girl. I didn't call her a bar girl. And I kept on asking her, "Did I call you a bar girl?" And she could not answer the question. Right. And then now he's playing, "Oh, these guys are good at making you feel like a victim." I'm not trying to make him feel like a victim. I don't want him to feel like a victim. Like, I want him to feel like a man and man up and be like, "Yo, you know what? I messed up." And then he wants me to apologize for her for something I never said. Right? Why would I apologize to your woman who's acting so toxic in front of people? Like he made her look bad. And there's, yes, you know what? Let's just be honest. Okay, fine. Maybe he was being sarcastic by introducing to her to everyone else as his 304. Okay? Fine. Sarcasm. I get it. But as a real man, you don't introduce her to the world as that.
Well,
Not publicly. You don't do that.
I have to tell you, um, you know, I do believe you make a solid point that we haven't really even discussed, and that
Mhm.
is there seems to be, even with me, some disjointed ability to um, put together different cultural slangs. All right.
Mm.
And what I mean by that is that he utilizes these excuses of it's tongue in cheek, it's
Yeah.
not intentional, it's whatever. Maybe I don't get it. That's a possibility. Maybe our dialects are so far, or not dialects, but our cultural sayings are so
Mhm.
far apart, okay, that I may not get it. I can understand
Mhm.
that, but at the same time, calling his partner a 304, introducing his partner to a room of people that do not know him or her at all, but only by YouTube, him and her very, very infrequently as a 304. I find that very substandard in a man's behavior. Now,
Yeah.
all right. They questioned a lot of other things, and I can understand that. All right. But you questioned as well. And getting a direct answer is even different. But Loving the Philippines asks a question, says, how much time does Mike have living in the Philippines? And how much time does John? Well, obviously, Loving in the Philippines knows exactly how much time John has, or he wouldn't be setting that question up. But Mike,
Mhm.
would you like to go into that?
Sure. Been
I mean,
going to the Philippines since I was a baby, in and out 3 times. Moved to the Philippines when I started kindergarten, went all the way till half of grade 6, came back to the USA, went back to the Philippines pretty much, every year, sometimes twice a year from then on. I speak the language now. I used to speak Bisaya. I can only understand it now. I'm doing better with my Tagalog. I've been around the Filipino community for a long, long time. Um so if you how about this? Um, if you want to play the game, fine. Um,
well,
um, I
no,
pretty much have I have a lot of understanding of the Philippines. So, and one thing that you can also notice is that he doesn't really go up and about everywhere with and pretty much socializes with Filipinos, and he's admitted that himself, right? He's isolated himself in his own house pretty much. The only pretty much socialization he has is his wife and her family, right? And that's a complete different setup. So, I mean, if you want to say that, does he have experience living in the Philippines? What, 8 years for him? But for me, wise, it's been a long time. I've been around Filipinos. I've dated Filipinos my whole life, right? I've had my, my international moments. But yeah, so pretty much take that one. I'm 45 years of age.
there you go. So there's information, and there's more out there. That Mike, if Mike feels compelled, there's more. Um, but and also, I think you have to understand something like nomenclature. Um, John lives in the province. Okay, we all, he talks about living in the province, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Maybe people should understand something. No matter where you live in the Philippines, you live in the province, unless you live in the NCR. Everywhere else is a part of a province. John lives in Nagilian. It's a population of 52,000 people. That's not, by most people's thoughts, the province. Okay? 52,000 is a functioning, in fact, the Philippine government defines Nagilian as a municipality. It has its own LGU and everything that goes along with it. So, um, it is what it is. I just don't want people to I do want people to recognize that there is a verbiage and nomenclature issue that may arise here. That may be a part of the issue. I mean, certainly, and I don't want to say something negatively, all right, but certainly one of the things that we know transpired was that his partner and John himself misconstrued what you said about a 304. That they accused you of saying that's what she is, and you readily said no, that's not true. That's not true at all. And you tried to explain that. But, Hapa is doling out memberships. Wow. Thank you,
No, I
Hapa.
didn't catch them.
And welcome, Loving the Philippines. You're going to, although I'm going to be honest with you, Loving the Philippines, I'm not very good at posting membership videos. So we'll see what happens. Pablo Grill gifted a membership. Wow. Come on. Where the Brit at? Yes, USA. I got a feeling that we're going to see John as a no-show. We are 27 minutes into it, and at this part, he just isn't here. We haven't heard from him. I didn't get an email from him. I did get an email from Ian explaining that he had a family event and that he was pretty much not interested in it anyways. So, wow, a lot of gifts. Wow, Hapa just went crazy with the gifting. Thank you,
I know,
Hapa.
right? Good
Yeah,
job, Hapa.
man. Miyagi, I'm gonna have to now, Hoppy. You know what, Hoppy? You're gonna make me have to go and make content for the membership. So Miyagi says, USA, start listening so you can get an idea on the debate. Yes, and so I think we've explained it, and I'll tell you where you won't find John anywhere. All right, nah, come on, none of your business. We don't need to personally attack anybody. You said once a lot of guys will request boom boom, and these girls will stick a finger up. I'm not sure what that has to do with this particular live. Um, so I think we're going to skip that, Dr. Richmond, if you don't mind. I'd like to stick to the topic. And by the way, they do make handy wipes, I guess. I'm not sure.
Alcohol, spray, all that stuff.
Whatever. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think John likes debates, and he may not. I was very impressed with Jane, actually. Not in the fact of her delivery, but in the fact that here she is, she stood up for herself, which still, in my opinion, is far more than what John did. All right. I don't think John stood up for her.
Yeah, I think, I do give her props for coming aboard. Like, that's one thing I will give her. She fought for her belief in what she was thinking and how she absorbed it. Now, the problem that I had with the whole thing is just like what you said. John didn't do a good job on it. My big main problem for the whole thing is, why is he allowing her to speak? I'm not saying that, you're a woman, you're not allowed to speak, but she had to go in a defense mode, and she had to go in an attack, pit bull mode to defend it, because let's just be honest, in my opinion, by an assessment, it got to the point for her that she knows she's the only one that can defend herself. because obviously he's not able to do that for her, or pretty much verbally be able to defend her, and that's where she's at. So I give her that much props for doing it. I think the big problem also that I've seen is that for her wise, you know, she speaks good English. I think that she was delivering pretty well. I think that maybe sometimes there is, there's the, did you pick up the nuances? Did you pick up the true meaning of what I said? But sometimes, when you hear those trigger words, which she did, right? That 304 word triggered her, even though I wasn't saying that that's what she is, or who she is. That triggered her, and then it brought her PTSD in regards to the comments, a lot of the comments that were being made about John and her on his YouTube channel. Now, it's funny she started, because I wanted to dive deep a little bit more, and I was doing that last night before I fell asleep. She's saying she's being called a bar girl, this and that. And, John did specifically mention that because I posted it. And when I went to his videos, after I made my post, any of the videos that he tried to do a slam response, victimhood response, there were no comments there calling her a bar girl.
No, I think those comments came out from trolls in the chat, and she was picking up on it. I want to address Philip here for just a second. Philip, you may be disappointed on our choices of subject matter, but I will say this. All right. Two things. Number one is John started this. All right. John's the one that started it. He apologized, and then he wouldn't set it away. And then it continued to escalate. That's the first issue that I'd like to say something about. And then secondly, I apologize, but I think it's important. I think that as a social experiment, does this type of organized, all right, organized debate work? Is it, because there's always going to be people that have differences of opinion. John and I will never have the same opinions, all right, on many, many things. But is this the correct way to debate those things?
Yeah. And don't forget, it's like I didn't ask to debate him.
No, John asked you.
I didn't challenge him on a debate. He's the one that came to me and says, "Let's cam up." I didn't challenge him to a debate. And let me tell you guys right now and stuff like that, right? If you really pay attention to anybody that I've debated in the past, because people will call me a bully, any person I truly have debated, okay, were the ones that were calling me out and wanted to put me down. I didn't bully these people. Like any people that I debated, they asked for me. They called me out. The ones that I want to debate are the ones that, I feel like, okay, I think will match wits with me. I feel that more than likely you can probably beat me, right? That's why I want those if I'm going to debate those, because that's more of a challenge. Now, if somebody challenges me in a debate, I'm not going to back off. I have to, because then they can do that whole see your chicken. So even I know that how he delivers stuff and how I've seen him in a regular conversation when he was having a conversation with you, Mike. I just knew already which tactic I will kind of use. And then a lot of people say, well, that's manipulation. I'm like, no, this is a debate. Like people will say debate is supposed to be constructive. Of course, there could be constructive debates. But in a debate, the job is, in the end, no matter what, is for one side to win.
Yes,
and
indeed.
That's a debate. That's what it is. One has to win. And then once the other side wins, then we can say, okay, are we both going to agree now that maybe we can build up on this? But
yes. And that's
for people say,
that's the beauty of a debate. The beauty of a debate is to be able to take it to the next step. How do we improve on this? Now, Mogman says that John hasn't been here long. He's on a tourist visa. So every 3 years he has to leave and come back. But John said he's been here for the past 8 years. All right. So maybe he's left and come back. I don't know.
Mhm.
But he does say he's been living in the Philippines for 8 years. But yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I truly agree that um, um, a good debate leaves room at the end to grow, to learn more, to expand, to captivate that and go forward, in my personal opinion. So,
And it has to deliver for the people that are watching the debate, because if you cannot, distinctively see the major polarity and differences to see who won or who lost, then you're not going to be able to start asking yourself questions in your brain. Okay, which one should I side more? And at the same time, as I don't expect people to side with me, that's still your decision. But can you please remove the emotional aspect of things? I mean, it got to the point where some guys were like, "It's not right that you abuse this old man." No, that's not abuse. That's called respect. So I did not give him looked at him as him having a disability because he's older than me. I'm giving him the ability to be able to speak to me, and I'm me not looking low at him. Like I'm not gonna make, did I make fun of his, hearing problems? No, not during the debate. I didn't. I
no,
s- and as a matter of fact, okay, I didn't show any rudeness about it when he did it. And what did I do? I actually put some extra effort to type certain things that I felt that maybe he's not going to understand, so it can be a better, fruitful conversation. I typed things. I made things a little bit easier for him. Number one, is the one thing is in my brain, because sometimes, when it comes to that, is like the objection blocker. Is he lying that he can't truly hear me? So now that I type something in, he can't deny that he can't, hear it. It's funny how people think that way.
yeah, I think that in the end, you have opposing viewpoints,
Mhm,
right or wrong. Okay,
mhm.
and it. I look at it from a different perspective, maybe.
Right.
I think that John needs to expect even more of this. All right. You can't go around bashing an entire nationality. All right. You just can't do it nonstop to make money. You can't
Mhm,
make it, whether he wants to say it or not. Okay. Look, I'll be the first person to go right out there and say
mhm,
YouTube provides me with a little bit of money. And when I say a little bit, it's mice nuts. It doesn't cover, honestly, it doesn't cover a night out at the bars. Okay. Now, with that being said, John has a different budget and maybe he depends on it more or wants it more or looks at it as building a business in the future to make more or even for, getting something set up for his partner down the road when he's gone.
mhm,
I have no idea. I don't know. But the problem there is, John, you can't bash Americans nonstop. I didn't, I was too lazy. Mike actually did it and I didn't know anything about it, but I was too lazy to go back and count and look at the number of screenshots that Mike put up as to how many of his titles are bashing Americans. He continuously talks about Americans being ill prepared and wasteful and blah blah blah. All right. And he's entitled to talk about anything he wants, but he's got to be able to take what comes with those discussions. If I was to go out and I was going to say, you know what, Mike, I know this blogger, Mike's Philippine Journey, and he's a piece of shit. He has no idea what he's talking about. He just thinks because he's got so much hair, it's just like God's gift to the world. Well, sooner or later, if I say that like 10 times, it's going to be just like saying Beetlejuice 3 times.
mhm.
All right. That little ghost is going to pop up. All right. Well, it does, and Mike's even a poor example. Mike's just like it could have been any American,
Mm-hmm.
anybody. You could go after anyone. So, I mean, I think he had to expect that somebody was going to finally stand up and call him on it.
Yeah, and I didn't call him out right away on the American stuff. Like
No.
that's something that's not where I first went at it. I first went at it with, the whole budget. I came in with the budget problem that I had because what he was saying did not add up in regards to the 35,000. And it's like, okay, you're saying this and I cuz this is the problem with a lot of the budget stuff. You put out a spreadsheet. There you go. I provided images. I gave a calendar for a week and I said, how does this make any sense? I then calculated everything for him. It didn't add up correctly. And but then when he went after that, then I was like, oh wait, ivory tower, entitlement, Americans. And then I was like, no. And then so I'm like, okay, let's see where he's coming from. Then I reverse engineered, looked in his channel. It was like I was 1/3 down and I already had enough, titles that I made screenshots for into 3 different layers. And I'm just like, whoa, okay. And his excuse was that, well, I watch YouTube videos and they give you suggestions of what you should put as your titles. Okay, fine. That's perfectly fine. If you're going to do that, you reverse engineer it, you then create a title, and then you make content. But every single thing that was negative about Americans. Now, here's the thing. I come from the school of belief that you have the right to say whatever you want. You earned that right. Your forefathers gained you and helped you earn that right to have your free speech. But you must be able to take it if you dish it. And the moment I say one thing and it already bothers him, and that's where it goes.
Well, I want to say something that I have yet to have brought up in
Mhm.
anything. So his original video where he calls me fat, bald,
Mm.
Mr. Know It All, ivory tower. He calls me that 3 times in a row. I'm not sure
Mhm.
how tongue in cheek that works 3 times in a row in one video, but he missed the entire video. Here's a guy who looked at the title, flipped it on, saw it, and said, oh, no, no, no. The title was about people who say you can live like a king in
Mhm.
the Philippines for $1,000 a month. Okay? It wasn't about can you live like a king. It wasn't
Mhm.
about can you live. It was people who say, I say you can live for $1,000 a month. Sure, you can. All right. You can live under a bridge for all I care. I don't know what
Mhm.
the rent is under the Matanzas Bridge, but can you live like a king? That's what the video was about. Yet that never came up. Never. So
No. Hey, Mike, can I
let's,
can I address this one
sure.
comment right here?
Yeah.
It's coming
Which
from
one?
it comes from Man. Man says, Mike, do you remember Frank Battaglia from My Philippines Interest? He's way before my time. I've maybe seen one of his videos just for reference. But I know what this is about. You're gonna say that I look like him, that maybe the younger version. So if that's where you're gonna take it at, hey man, bravo, try, good try. But that's not gonna offend me. Just
I don't know, Frank. I think Frank Battaglia is before my time as well.
yeah, way before my time.
Hey, Barry in the PI. There's your guy. Barry, how
Very.
long have you lived in the Philippines? All right. That would be interesting.
Yeah, well, didn't Barry arrive like about a couple of years ago, 2, 3 years ago,
No, I
or was he
don't
here
know.
before that?
I don't
I
know.
don't
I
know.
mean, Barry, no offense, he's old as dirt. His wife was a school teacher. He's a really, if it's the same Barry,
Okay. Well, no,
he,
I'm thinking about Betty. Never mind. BT and Betty. Never mind.
Oh no,
Wrong one. Sorry.
you're thinking about
Yeah.
BT and Betty. Uh,
Yeah, BT. I'm thinking of BT and Betty. They,
yeah,
I think, just been here for a few
no,
years.
I'm pretty sure Barry actually did some
Okay.
teaching here too. I don't know for sure. We'll find out.
Mhm.
Mike, it's odd, but a few months ago, John was criticizing those bloggers that were saying how cheap you could live in the Philippines. Then he seemed to have reversed his position. You know what, John? I don't know. I don't watch all of his stuff, so I don't know. I'm not familiar with it. Um, I don't think that he is going to show up. I'm
Yeah,
going to
he's not.
post the link again, and if someone else or others want to join the panel, feel free.
Especially if somebody has a difference of opinion on something, we can have a constructive conversation. I mean, I think anybody who wants to come in also, I think that's a fair game. And that's about, I think, what we're trying to do here is to create a normal sense of conversation, not talking over everybody. Just to have that great conversation. I think it's always a good thing. Difference of opinions.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, something you learn from other people. You learn
Hmm.
from their experiences. You learn from their opinions. You learn from their thoughts. All right. Some people, you don't actually have to have done something sometimes to have
Hmm.
an opinion about it. Like, I can't tell you what it's like to jump out of an airplane, but my opinion would be I'd piss my pants. That's not for me. Okay. Now, Miyagi may feel differently. All right.
Hmm.
It's just an opinion, but not from an experience.
Yeah, I
So
agree. I
Mark
agree.
wants to know, an interesting debate would be, is it morally ethical for older expats to move to the Philippines for the sole purpose of hooking up with, for lack of a better term, a much younger Filipino? I think that would be interesting if you could find people that would argue no. All right. I don't think it's morally unethical, personally. They're not slaves. The women here are in control of what they do. Now, are
Hmm.
they in circumstances that may push them into other areas? Well, that's a rental issue. Okay.
Hmm.
So I don't know.
I come from both sides. I come from both sides. The first thing, the first, see that when somebody says that, right? For me, I mean, just like how, for example, when we look at what we say morally, see, sometimes people use that, like just like that one guy that I debated the other day called me a narcissist. And when I asked him what the definition of a narcissist is for his brain, he couldn't answer it.
Oh my
So if you
God.
can't
King
even
B?
answer, yeah, if you can't even tell me what a narcissist is, you can't call me a narcissist. And that's the problem, is that a lot of people kind of use those. It's key terms, keyword blockers. And so, my question for that is like, what do you mean by morally? Are you talking about something that is generally considered not right? Or because some people are gonna say, well, that's not right. Well, the question is generally, right? Is it generally, or is it just really not right or not acceptable? Um, is it not acceptable? That's impossible, because they do it in the Philippines and been doing that before anybody else. We've always seen that. I mean, you even see it among actors, for example, in the Philippines. A lot of like young actors are dating, for example, like the one gentleman from Itbulaga, for example, Vic Soto. Like that dude has ran through all these young Filipinas, and he's in his like almost 70s, if I'm correct. Like it's so funny. Like he's dating a girl, a woman now. Okay, he's dating a woman who was actually a contestant for Little Miss Itbulaga when she was like 6 years old, and she was a guest at Itbulaga, and he's with her now. Okay, so it's been going on for a long time now. Is it morally? No, because in the end, for me, is if both sides accepted the roles and freely made themselves want to date an older man, and the old man wants to date a young girl, there's a contract that they put in place. Who am I to say that that's wrong, right? It may, for me wise, it may be. weird. Okay. I'm not gonna say that I don't double take sometimes when I see something where it's like really completely the guy's in a cane barely walking, and then here's this young girl in her cell phone, and you know they're together, and when they sit down, they're not talking. That's weird to me. Okay. But I don't think it's morally wrong when it is in a way if it's socially accepted among the Filipino people themselves, then I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Um, so for me wise, let it be as long as both of them agrees. You know,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think it's a pretty deep subject, and I think you'd have to have a diversified panel to
Mhm.
have that discussion. Um, so uh,
You need a young
just
Filipina in that combo. You need to bring in one of the young Filipinas.
yeah, I think so. Maybe we should get Gile.
Oh, I'm so tempted. I want to interview Steph and Gelai so bad.
Oh my
I truly
God.
do. And I would be so respectable. I mean,
Have you
I've
have you reached out to them?
not yet, man. Like I'll be respectful if they're a guest of mine. I've had the True Girls as guests of mine, and I was very, 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 just energetic, having fun, having the conversations. Listen, the way I look at it is like, listen, we'll have a conversation because I want to know what people think if they're in that end. Like, I want to know. Like, look, just to let you guys know, I've asked these questions to some of these girls already. Okay, I know the answer, but it's just knows I don't want to bring it up, and say, okay, I heard this. I think it's nicer to hear it from the girls, but ask a girl this. Like these are questions you ask these girls. Will you date an older man? Yes. Okay, how old? Because that's a problem a lot of these guys ask is, would you date an older guy? And these Filipinas are saying, yes, I would. How old? 50 to 60, 60, 70, 70, 80, right? They're going to have their limits. Maybe 65. Okay, 65. Great. So, do you want to stay with him for the rest of your life? She's like, yeah. Well, that means in 10 years he's going to be dead.
Right.
By far average.
I got to tell you, when I spoke with the bar girls and I
Mhm.
interviewed all these bar girls, which I still have stuff I haven't even published yet,
Mhm.
I should have asked, okay, how old? Because when you
Yep.
ask a 25-year-old or a 23-year-old, would you
Yes.
date an older guy? Then all of the sudden, sure. Well, hold on. Would you date a 70-year-old? Would you date a 60 year
Mhm.
old? I didn't think to do it that way, and I should have.
Yeah. And then you can stack just that question. The next question is, okay, what if a guy is 30 years old and one guy is 70 years old and they have the same amount of money? Who are you going to prefer between both of them? Right?
Yeah.
It determines like really is youth important for them. Then of course, yes, because then that cancels what a lot of guys think like they like mature men. No, no, no. It's not what you're thinking. It's what you were fed. Then the next big question that I ask a girl a lot is this: how does it feel when you have a 70-year-old on top of you with wrinkly balls, white pubes, just grinding on you? Ask that question, and if you see her grimace, she can't love you. She's just forcing herself.
Yeah. All right. So,
And one of these days, I'm going to be
folks,
that guy.
look, I'm putting the link up and I'm inviting anybody in to discuss. So, if you'd like to be on the panel and cam up and say your piece, now is the time to do it. Since it's obvious we've been here an hour and John is not going to show up.
Yeah, he's playing victim right now.
I'm sure there'll be a blog about it.
He's gonna do the thing when I wake up, 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I woke up today, and this is my daily thoughts.
I don't think my brain cells can handle listening, much less watching Gile, Steph, Sizzy, and the rest of them dumb Duma
Oh
sites.
my
Are
god,
they
it's I.
all? Are they all in Duma?
You don't understand. I fell on the rabbit hole. Okay, no, this is no joke. I fell in the rabbit hole last Thursday, Because this is how when I binge watch, what I did was I was like, I went through Gelai's videos. I go, I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna watch this. And then I did it with Steph, and I was like, all the matching titles, all the matching stuff, and they're man, that Steph girl, much respect, because that girl is straight up like, eat pussy, right on the thumbnail, and I'm like, wow, I'm like, you go, girl. Like listen, I respect the hustle, right? But don't all of a sudden guys watching them thinking that, because this is the problem with a lot of guys, and we'll just say human beings. What you don't understand is you may say that you're not interested with that kind of girl, you're just using her for entertainment. No, but that's slowly absorbing in your brain, and it's making it where slowly letting you say that this is okay for a Filipina to do this. There's this Filipina right now in TikTok. She's with this guy, right? And he's in the US, I think, right? And they're always camming with each other, and she's grinding the bed, and she's like at least 50, 55, tattoos in her thighs, a whole tattoo going on in her chest right now, and he's just enjoying it, watching her while he's eating or working. And my mind is like, that's fine for both of you guys, but it's in public. I'm like,
Wait,
people are
but
watching this.
the Filipina is like 55?
Yeah, she's like 55,
Oh, wow.
and she's just grinding along, wearing 90s sometimes, and I'm just like, do you understand that she's using you as a? I'm like, check out my white guy. I'm just saying.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No problem.
Arlene is actually down in Manila right now picking up her family.
Nice.
Yeah, well, she's down at Naia picking up her family. We have a wedding coming up later at the end of this week. So, how about, let me see, what is this? How about asking Mike your questions for the debate? I don't have any questions for the debate. I'm not sure I understand you loving the Philippines. Maybe I misunderstand you. Maybe I don't understand the question. If you could kind of rephrase it a little bit, because I wasn't a part. I didn't have questions for John. Okay, my whole intention here. Let's see here. Okay, sense of style, you're gonna have to turn your camera. There you go. All right. Guess number 2. And sense of style is going to join us.
Sense of style.
There we go.
Where's the link on the panel?
So Alex is here now. How you
What's
doing,
up,
Alex? Sense of style. Can you see us? I guess you're having technical difficulty there.
Yeah,
I see.
yeah. I think I'm no. Well, the connection sometimes goes in and out. Um, where I do I click on share screen
No,
to
no,
to be
no.
able to
No,
see
no.
everybody?
You
I can
should
see
no
you.
up at the top.
Just the way it is.
No, you should be able to see everybody.
No,
Mike,
no,
you
not,
can
not
you
no.
can see him.
The only way I can see you is through my phone that I just have the audio down.
Oh no! Does that have to be reset every time? Edit. Maybe
Let's
that has
click
to go back and
here.
be reset. Well, you know what? I don't know. Let's see here. Ecamm. So, what have you got to say, Sense of Style?
Well, there were that topic comes up a lot about age difference, and then uh, the thing that came to my mind was I watched something about William Randolph Hearst, and he had a girlfriend that was a lot younger than him, and he was with her for, well, he's quite wealthy, So,
Hmm.
it's not within our realm or something like that. But here we go. Okay, so many years later, they asked her about it, and she said, "Well, I started off a gold digger, and then I ended up in love." And you think, well, like maybe she was in love with that guy, maybe, but she definitely was in love with his money at first.
Are
So,
we talking about Millie? Are we talking about Millie Hurst?
so I think it happens, but that's just my opinion. I'm not saying it happens often, but it does happen.
Now, to answer Ruby's question, no, Ruby, John did not. Excuse me, John did not show up. Chippy Whiska, where are you from? Are you from the UK? Just out of curiosity. So, yeah, you know
Me?
what? There have been a lot
No.
of people in history uh, that have had age gap
Oh,
relationships. Hugh
no.
Hefner, Larry Flint, um, you know, just a ton of people. Um, I'm trying to remember. Wasn't there? I don't know about the difference between.
I,
Uh,
who was that? When Hugh Hefner turned like 72, and and those women that are on TV, The View, they had him
the
on
View.
the phone, and they asked him why was he always dating younger women, and his answer was, well, when I was in my 20s, I was attracted to women the same age as I was, and as time went on, and as I got older, my taste in women didn't change.
Yeah, I don't know. Age gap relationships are a totally different subject, and let's see here. We'll see if anybody else wants to cam up here. Although I think what census style you're in California, aren't you?
Yeah, California's the place you ought to be. So they loaded up the truck and they moved to Beverly
Ha.
Hills. That is.
From what you said, I mean, I do understand. We're talking about, William Randall Hearst. We're talking about Hugh Hefner. I think that a lot of guys, to have that conversation, the thing though is exception from the rule is just never just the rule, right?
Oh,
And the next thing also is like I think that a lot of guys,
yeah.
us us men, should stop using excuses and comparing ourselves with the likes of the Hearsts, with the likes of Playboy guy, forgot his name already. um we can't do that because that's not the lifestyle that we're in, that most men are in. And so what which could which could cause a dangerous precedence to have that mindset. They were able to do that because they had the money, which attracted the gold diggers as well, and there's nothing wrong
Well,
with that.
yeah. I
um
think. Yeah. Let me see
so
if I can
so we have to be
need
careful
to
because at the same
get a
time
better
as we
position
do
here.
have a lot of guys that are thinking that they're going to be acting like Hugh Hefner, doing that in another country. And the thing though is that's what happens. Then you have these guys do act like the Playboy lifestyle and act like a 2 week millionaire and giving up the farm practically to a lot of these women. And so, but in the end, for me wise, I have nothing really wrong. I don't, do you in my end? My question is like, let's say for if you have a daughter, okay, um, are you actually wanting to date somebody younger than your daughter?
Well, no. I think personally, I think Filipinas in their maybe early 40s or late 30s is about
Hmm.
somebody I would pursue.
Respect, respect.
The uh, it would have to be, um, I don't know. It would have to be really love to go lower than that. That's just my opinion. opinion. I know everybody has their own opinion about
Oh yeah,
what.
yeah. And
I mean,
actually,
it goes on forever.
and I do
The
apologize because I
discussion
wasn't.
does.
Yes, and I do apologize. I want to be able to say this. I wasn't um pointing the question directly at you if you had a daughter. I said, I should have premised it in regards for everyone out there listening. Is that something that you really want? Because man, like I look at it as like the potential psychological problem drama that can happen between guys and I'm sure and I guarantee that there's guys out there who are not speaking to their daughters anymore because of the fact they're dating somebody younger than their daughter. Because that would
Well,
cause a woman chaos.
um, that really depends on the daughter, I think. But
Sure.
again, and then there's a few topics that come up that go on endlessly, and
Yeah.
one is the age gap thing, and the other one is, should you give your Filipina money, and how much should you give her? And that one just, I mean, those discussions, like on certain YouTube channels, they talk about that.
Mhm.
And then of course they talk about sending money to somebody you never met, which is
Mm.
kind of
That,
silly in my
but
opinion.
isn't that really a topic for sending money? Would sending money to people you've never met? All right, I don't get that at all. I really don't. Maybe,
Oh well,
but I see a
I think
lot of it.
yeah, I think these men, they want to have like a connection, and they feel if they send, well, this is just my opinion. They feel if they send money to some Filipina or Colombiana or somebody online, well, you don't even know if that's really them in the picture, but they feel like they're connecting. It's kind of like, oh boy, maybe I shouldn't say this, but anyway, it's kind of like the televangelists. They have like $100 million in the bank, and people still send them money because they want to feel this connection to this, you know, situation. And I think it's kind of similar. But there's people like you this and like me that say, don't do it, don't do it. You never met this person, and but they do it. They
Yeah,
still do it anyway. And I think
Ruby
I think
says.
some Filipinos.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Ruby
Sorry.
says what gives her the shivers is when I hear men in their 60s and 70s saying, "Come to the Philippines. You can get a Filipina's age 18 to 24. It's almost a third of your age."
No, you can't really do that.
You know, well, I don't know. I mean, I've seen older guys with younger girls here in Angeles. I've seen them in Makati, all right, although less than here. Um, I don't know. Hold on a second. Um, I think there's a couple Duma guys that are in their 60s and are hooked up with girls in their mid 20s, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong.
Well, there's a guy that I know in Dumaguete, and he's been living there for probably, well, in the Philippines, probably about at least 10 years. And he's 80, and his current girlfriend, I don't know how old she is, but she might be still in her 20s. So it does happen. You're right. It does happen.
Yeah.
But for somebody to say, "Oh, you can go over there and do that," maybe not.
Exactly, because exception from the rules. Just because there's that one guy that we know or this other guy that they know, everyone
Oh,
thinks that
and she's
it,
thrilled
it
to
can
be
happen
with
to
him.
them.
They get on
Yeah,
Facebook, and
a-
I'm
yeah.
she's
And the
crazy
best
about
question,
him.
mhm. The best question to always tell guys is like, okay, when we're just going reversing back to the, do you send money first to a girl because, and you said earlier, right? Because he wants a connection, this and that, right? So
Yeah.
that's the funny part is Mike. Then I reverse the question to guys and ask them this: what do you call a girl that gives you attention if you give her money?
Well, they usually call that type of a woman a gold digger, and
Sure. And
yeah, but my
sorry.
observation about that type of deal is
Mhm.
usually the woman that's giving the guy attention, and they say, well, she's poor and this, that, and the other. She usually has maybe one or two children already, and that's why she's in a situation where she's kind of stuck a little bit, and but now if the woman doesn't, or say a woman in her like 30 and she's somewhat
Bam,
attractive,
bam.
and she doesn't have any children, well, she's probably going to go for somebody more her age. That's just my opinion and my observation living in the Philippines. I was living
And I
in the
think we have.
Philippines from 2016 to 2022.
Yeah, I think a lot of people need to put the right definitions in. I think a lot of people get these wrong definitions of stuff. We start calling women gold diggers. And that's just, you say Filipinas, calling Filipinas gold diggers. And I just laugh sometimes how guys call these girls diggers when it's not the truth. Because a gold digger is somebody that's going to hunt you. That's what digger is. She's digging around
Yeah.
looking for guys and then with gold to find it. She's a gold digger. She hunts you.
Well,
These are what we see when we're in we see in Miami, for example. They're up and about.
Every gold digger I came across had children. Like if you say, well, I'll date a woman that doesn't have any children, then you've canceled out all gold diggers. Just my opinion.
We can
Now,
have that
am I
opinion,
saying that all women that have children are gold diggers? No. But if you say, well, I'm not going to date somebody with children, then you've canceled out all the gold diggers. That's it. You're done.
I don't think so, because here's the problem is, right? This is the problem with guys with wrong filters. There's a lot of women out there with children who can actually take care of the kids. They work hard. They have great jobs. They just want to look for a man that's going to be there with them.
I said that. I said they're not all gold diggers.
I'm not saying they're not all, but that's what I'm saying. So you're not going to cancel all gold diggers just because you don't date, somebody who is with children, because that's
close. I said all gold diggers have children, but not all women with children are gold diggers.
That's
Some
incorrect.
gold diggers have no children.
Because I'll give you a
wrong.
I'll give you a perfect example. I'll give you a perfect example.
Never met one.
Right now,
and I look.
Right now, see, that's because your setting of your filter is wrong. See, if you really look at it, right, there's women right now digging for men in the internet. They're tossing thirst traps left and right out there already, waiting for the guys to come up to them. Okay, those are gold diggers. Some of them don't have any kids. They just know their sexual marketplace value. Now we take it to the next part is there. There's guys. There's guys that unfortunately. Oh, trust me, I have. Real proof. I have real proof. Okay, that I have honest, real proof of guys meeting up. 4 different Filipina vloggers right now, and these 4 Filipina vloggers, who is famous among the community. Once again, it's not the Filipina P. I will never mention these girls' name. These 4 girls have 7 to 10 of these guys watching them, giving them a minimum of $1,000 a month.
Of course, yes.
They don't have any kids.
They haven't. Wait a minute, Mike. Just a second.
Sure.
But they haven't met these girls.
Yes, they have. They did. They've gone on vacations. And let me give you the word, because some Filipinas will use afam or use sponsor, right? The new one is called collab. That's a new keyword that these Filipino vloggers are using with these guys. That's collab, meaning let's go on vacation. Okay? So, and these girls don't have any kids. So this is what I'm just trying to say. Knowledge is power. The next thing is you have to know the difference between what gold diggers are. A lot of these guys will then call Filipinas gold diggers when these guys were hunted these girls down and was giving them money to give them attention. The girls didn't want to give them attention, but with the money being shown, they finally gave them attention. Those girls are not gold diggers. You found them. They're hoes.
Technically,
You know, I mean, that's the thing. And the thing though
You
is,
live in
here's
Angeles
my
City,
thing, right?
you know.
Here-
I've been
here's
there.
my thing
I've
with
been
gold
to
diggers.
Angeles
Like,
City.
yeah, my thing with gold diggers is that did they really find gold? Because some of these guys think that they call them gold diggers, and you look at the guy, you're like, all you were selling was pretty much just
Oh,
bronze, some nickels,
are you,
and some bronze is what you
are
got.
you saying that? Are you saying that the guy that presents himself as a gold person only is collecting Social Security and that's it? Something like that? Is that what you're trying to say?
95%
No,
of the people that go to Angeles City are like that.
yeah,
What?
that. Go ahead, Ben.
Ninety-five
Alex.
percent of the people that go to Thailand or Angeles City they don't have money like that.
Oh,
There's very few
oh, I
people
see.
that come to Angeles City or I live in Pattaya, Thailand, and other places like similar to this one. Most men that go to those places, because I include myself in those people, we don't have money like that. Rich folks don't go to Angeles City.
Well, you're probably right. Now I have been there, but the last time I was there was probably 2017, I think, something like
It
that.
hasn't changed.
And
Mickey
I
can tell
haven't
you
been
that.
back. I don't know what it's like
There,
now.
there's been a few, there's a few people, I know a few people with money like that, but like Mickey always says, the minority doesn't make it a fact. There's a few people always say, oh, I know somebody that has a lot of money and he's rich. Yeah, there's a few people like that, but the majority of
Oh,
people
yeah,
that come to the Philippines or
women.
Thailand, of men, that we're
Yeah.
not rich. That is a fact. That's why they
Well,
came here, because they don't have money like that amount of
well,
money.
I did a long time ago before I moved to the Philippines. I was still working, but I went to Angeles City. I think it was like maybe like 2008 or no, a little bit later than that. But I met some foreigners, and there was a guy there he was like a retired attorney, and he had a house in Mill Valley in around the Bay Area, which is like high digits, and there are some foreigners that might live in Angeles City that are like that actually
Some,
have some good money coming
a
in.
small amount.
Yeah, very few. Yeah, I would agree on that.
Yeah. Jose and Luzon, I think, had a good, made a comment here. Okay, Mike's back. But Jose and Luzon says, wow, I caught this live. I can't believe that ignorant statement I just heard. I have had so many women without children chase after me thinking I had money. So I'm just curious, what was it my statement? Was it,
No, I
whose
think he's
statement
talking
was
about
it?
the statement that all gold diggers have children. I think that's what he meant. I'm
Okay.
assuming that, which I
Yeah,
don't
so maybe,
believe. There's a lot of gold diggers that have no kids.
yeah. And then another thing,
Wow.
in my translation of this, from what I'm looking here, just heard I have had so many women without children chase after me thinking I had money. And then one thing that a lot of guys need to be ready with themselves is that a lot of women sometimes just have the false pretenses. It's the ideation that when you are either a foreigner, whatever skin color you are, they have that association that, oh, money, rich. Unfortunately, there's that association. And so they see that and they chase that because they think that there is
Well,
money that's going to come from
yeah.
that, which is,
Well,
here's my thing. If they get disappointed, I'll laugh at those girls that chase men for that. That's your fault because you thought that just because that you're a foreigner that you have money. But they just don't understand. A lot of these women don't understand that. And then they end up being single mothers.
one
So,
one of the things that I thought I find kind of strange is
mm,
I lived in Dumaguete and during the pandemic, and then you couldn't leave and you couldn't
mm,
go anywhere well, they had their reasons in the Philippines, and
yeah.
so I realized, which was really interesting, that I met a lot of foreigners and they had girlfriends, but not one of them was actually from or born in the city of Dumaguete. They were all either imported in. The guy met them in Cebu City or Leyte or Manila or wherever, and moved to Dumaguete with her. And uh, or the woman was there, or the Filipino
Hello,
was
Lucio.
there,
Hello, Jose.
like trying to get a job. Had a job, and but she wasn't from Dumaguete. And I realized that the women that are now, this is just my opinion and my experience from living there for years. The women that are actually from Dumaguete don't want to have anything to do with foreigners, which I find very interesting. Like every one of them guys, well, where is she from? Well, she's from Bohol, or she's from this, she's from that, and there's none of them from Dumaguete, and I think for some reason
Wait,
the women that
wait a
are actually
minute.
from Dumaguete
Somebody's
don't
mic
want
is
to
off.
have foreigners. What?
Yeah, that was my fault. My mic
There
was
you
on.
go.
All right, so
Go ahead.
Scissor Styles, wait. Let me interject just a second. You say that there are women in Dumaguete that don't want to have anything to do with foreigners,
I've
right?
never seen one with a foreigner that was from
Okay.
Dumaguete.
All right. So let's rephrase that, or let's give a hypothetical. Let's throw Alex into Dumaguete, and I bet he gets laid by a girl that lives there from Dumaguete. I don't
Different
mean
Alex,
that. No,
baby.
no, no, no.
Different Alex, not me.
No.
Different Alex.
I was
I'm Alex. I'm
There you
Alex.
go.
He's talking about
right.
me right now.
I
I'm
bet
Alex.
he gets. I bet that there will be many women that will pay attention to him. I will go along with what you say if you preface that or throw in that. You know what? Women in Dumaguete don't want to have anything to do with their women from Dumaguete. I'm sorry, that's how
From
you termed it.
Dumaguete. Yeah.
Don't want to have anything to do with old, scruffy, fat foreigners. Yes, I would
Well,
agree.
okay, okay, okay. On
Right,
that
but you
note,
throw somebody, you
okay,
throw
let
you
me
throw
say
a
something.
young guy like Alex down there. Okay, all right, a good-looking young guy. He's in shape, everything else. Mike, I might even have a chance. I don't know. All
I
right.
don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think
Well,
so.
well, I can address that somewhat. Okay, now I know, like I said, I know a lot of foreigners. There's some guys that are in their like maybe 50 or early 50s that are real muscular and they're in good shape and they're groomed, and all that, and they're with women from. I know a guy. He had a girlfriend that was in Iloilo, and he went to Iloilo, picked her up, and they got married, and they moved to Dumaguete. And it's just kind of baffles me that even those guys, they go outside. Now maybe I just never met the guys that are with Dumaguete girls. And in my experience with the girls that are local that are from Dumaguete, they weren't too interested in me, which is okay. They're not interested in me. But like you said, there's probably some young guys that come over there and they're interested in them. But I didn't see it. And I always kind of marveled at that. that
Yeah.
the girls, well,
Can I
you're not
speak on
interested
that real
in that,
quick?
but I'm sure there's some foreigners around here that
I,
that
I
you
don't
might
like
be interested.
I, I don't like when people say all or everybody. I I don't like that because I have met some, I have met many that do things that many other people say, oh, that will never happen in this place. Or this place, all the women are like this. Or this place, all the men are like this. Or all American men are like this. I don't believe that. I don't believe in absolutes like that.
Well,
I believe it's
like
the
I
majority, the
qualified
minority. Maybe
my
your
opinion,
experience has
what
been
I've
like that.
seen.
Maybe
Have,
the people you have,
but it might
there's
happen.
some echo
I'm not
going
saying
on.
it doesn't happen. I was there for years. Didn't see it happen once.
Who do you hang out with? That's the thing. Like also
Somebody
your group
needs.
of
They've
friends.
got a. Somebody's got YouTube on or the radio or something in the back.
Yeah, yeah. The fifth person, the one below Mickey.
Yeah, Kenny.
There you go.
There you go. Thank you.
Oh,
I mean, I actually I have an answer for you why because the fact you're seeing all this thing about the Dumaguete girls. Here's the thing, right? The reason why, in
still
general, that
happening a little bit.
happens, the reason why that's happening is because they live there. Their family is truly there. They don't want to shame their family because they know that people are going to talk. They know that unfortunately the way Filipinas are looked at, a young one with a foreigner, an older foreigner, they're going to be seen as, we'll say gold diggers or, perahin, all those different things. That's what they view at. And so they're not going to bring that, shame. It's not saving face. They're not going to bring hiya to their family by doing something that's going to make the whole people look bad. And then the chisme starts happening. That's why these girls will then go to another city and will say, hunt over there, because their family will not know about this. Right? So, in by far majority, that's why you're seeing them being brought into that particular state. And a good example, Angeles City, 97% of the girls that are working girls were not born or came from Angeles City or from Pampanga. It's for the reason that it's a risk. So that's why they bring those girls from Leyte, from Samar, over there. Okay, so it's pretty much just that's how the system works. Now, are there going to be girls in Dumaguete who was born and raised there who's going to hook up with the foreigner? Of course, it's a strong possibility. But here is the thing: majority of the men, okay, will not approach women right away because there's this belief that a lot of these guys, and I'm saying all men, in practically, not all men, but majority of men, because they don't have the capabilities to have conversations, they use their wallets to make the conversation to attract. A lot of guys have this belief is that I want a woman that's going to land in my lap. Why? Because it's been spread out there that you come to the Philippines, you have a blue passport,
Yeah.
women will land in your lap. And so a lot of these, that's why there's the joke. There's jokes out there. Just have your blue passport hang out of your pocket. I've seen guys walk around in Angeles City and Cebu and other cities with their passports out when they're in a bar or club, or they put it in the
That is
table,
so, yeah.
and I start laughing because I know they
I
believe
never
those
seen
people.
that. But I think you made a good point that I'd like to agree with is that what? Well, the
Kenji, you're going to need to turn that off or put on headphones.
you
We're
only can
getting
use
all that
one.
feedback on
Yeah,
our
there's a
end.
lot of feedback. Absolutely.
Now, Mike, here's another issue that I don't think a lot of people talk about, and it's when you approach a woman in person. Now, I think a lot of guys just they really depend heavily on the net, and the net is kind of it's not the way it was years ago, and so you're going to have to go out. What?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I
No.
had you muted, Kenji. That's how bad it was. Yes,
Okay.
Kenny, your whatever you were listening to, we could hear it and it was giving us feedback.
Yeah. So
I just muted
the
my mic.
next step, the next thing
I'm getting like reverberation
they need to
too. I don't
do
know
is
why.
go ahead.
I'm
I'm,
sorry.
I'm getting some that's okay.
You're getting what?
I'm getting like when you say something,
So you're saying you're getting like, are you listening to the channel and the live at the same time, or the channel and the
no,
connection?
no.
No.
He's listening to something.
I came on to the podcast, the live feed, and then I clicked your link in the chat. I don't have it open anywhere else.
Okay, so you should just be able to hear Census Style, Mike, Alex, and me.
I'm getting you, like you'll say something and then it'll repeat it twice. It's like lagging. I can hear you saying it. Very
I
weird.
I don't
I say
know.
just do a reset on your stuff, like just like
Yeah,
Okay.
exit
Okay.
out and come back in because nobody else is having that.
yeah.
Well, okay. What I
You
was
said the
going to
net.
say uh, is then the net is kind of like um, as far as like meeting women, it's kind of dead compared to what it was years ago, and there's a lot of fake profiles on there and so on and so forth. But
Okay.
but I think what the next step is there's guys that need to just approach the women. Now, if you approach a woman that you are interested in, chances are other guys are interested also.
Sure.
So believe it or not, and a lot of people don't believe this, but you might get a lot of rejection, but then you might meet a woman that they might say, well, I have a boyfriend or whatever, and so there's a lot of rejection involved, and but then you might meet somebody you like and she likes you. But I think just forget the net and just go out there and strike up a conversation with women and just take it from there, because it's changed. That's you're saying these guys that
I don't know.
have a past
I don't
hanging
know.
out
You
of
know
the
what? I go back to the simple premise of men come here for multiple reasons. And one of those reasons is to have a good relationship and to find a relationship and to fall in love and everything else. I have friends, I swear to God, they're man whores. I came here to hook up every other night. That's what comes out of their mouth.
I know 3 people like that.
Yeah. I mean, and,
And they,
well.
yeah,
you know,
I think the deal is on that is I was on there was another guy, a Filipino a guy from the U.S., and he had a Philippine channel and he was talking about this, that, and the other, and I said, well, I was on the chat, and I said, well, I think you're hooking up with women that you want to screw but you don't really want. And he agreed, and he said, well, that's what men do. And I'm thinking, well, not all men do that, but I think a
enough,
lot of men do that. And then
enough.
so yeah, and then if and my experience is if you do that, it only causes a lot of confusion.
Yeah,
This
but I
woman
mean,
thought
think
she
about it for a
wanted
second. Alex lives in Thailand. All right. If you want to see 500 of those men in 15 minutes, just head down to Walking Street about 10 o'clock at night. Hook up for whatever. I mean, that's what they're there
yes,
for. All right.
that's
Same thing with.
that's Mike, that's fee for service. I mean, if a woman says she wants a relationship with some guy and he agrees, but he doesn't really want her in the first place.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I see what you're
And
All
saying.
right.
Yeah.
go out.
I understand what you're
The fee
saying.
for service, I get it. I understand that.
Okay.
Okay, so
And like I knew a guy that was living in Subic, and he moved to Angeles City, and he had like a spreadsheet on his computer, and he had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and he would call some girl, and they would, he'd meet him in the bar, and then meet him outside the bar, and then he would put him on his schedule, and then sometimes the girl would call and say, "I can't make it, but my friend can." So and then he eventually moved to Pattaya, and so he does the same thing. But that's his deal. I'm not going to criticize it.
Yeah.
That's what he
So
does.
those are called experience 304s. So what that is that they want to experience a lifestyle with him because he can afford a certain lifestyle. So if they can't have it, they level up one of their friends. So that there's guys, there's the pay to play. Then then there's those experience 304s. They're not going to be like, I'm a GRO bar girl, but they go hop from one guy to the other to be able to have that good lifestyle. That's just a leech, pretty much, whatever that happens. When you start talking about earlier on today, it's about real dating, that how some guys just take advantage of girls. I think that's part of dating. There's going to be two parts. It's going to be having problems. There's going to be the guy that's serious but wants a good girl, but the thing though is he's attracted to toxic women, so that's why he gets taken advantage of women all the time. Then you also have these women sometimes who are poor choices in relationships anyways, because let's be honest, in a way to choose a better relationship, the truth is the traditional way of it is have your family help out to make the right decision. Women were not fully trained about dating in the real world. Dating has only been existent since the 1915s. That's when the word dating started happening, right? So if you start looking at that whole basics of things, it's that choose the right thing. But most guys want toxic women because toxic women are fun. It's just that's why a lot of guys are attracted to that. And so the first thing a guy should do to be able to find a good woman is, like, first you have to create the avatar. What are the requirements that you need to have a woman? But most guys will break those rules that they have of what makes up a good woman the moment a woman gives up the punani. And so that's the problem that happens. It's a big factory reset.
Well,
I think a lot of so
they have this criteria and stuff like that. I think everybody has a well. I'm sorry, I'm not going to say everybody. I'll say a lot. Okay, a lot of men will have pretty much very similar criteria, and then there's a competition, and then when it all comes down to, I mean, I used to go to Colombia, and there were women, and that was back in the day they had a lot of women on the net, and if there was a woman that she had really nice photos and she looked good, I mean, she could get probably 400 emails a day. And
sure.
so there's kind of like something that everybody wants, and when that happens, then there's competition. But now, can you get the woman you want? Yes, of course you can, but it's going to take some luck. And
Well,
that
I tell you what. I tell you what. Let us. Kenny hasn't really been able to get a word in. Kenny,
go ahead. Sure.
What did you? Why did you join us? Tell us what's up.
Jump on, man.
We started talking. I was cooking dinner, and I forget what you guys were talking about. I was trying to cook and eat. I didn't want to eat while I was logged in. Oh, it was on the age. It was on it was on the age thing. The
That's what I joined.
yeah, disparity kind of between the ages. And I think a lot of times, even with men, but mostly with women, they bring that up. It's even here in America, it's kind of brought up. So let me give you talking for me. So I'm 56 now, but I'll be 56 in August. Well, when I was 18, I looked 16, so I couldn't get a girlfriend because the 18-year-old girls wanted either the 21, the 22-year-olds. But long story short, by the time I get to about 30 and I'm look 20, now the game has changed for me. And so kind of throughout my whole life, I've always been able to date women 10 years, 15 years younger than me. And I even used to have an issue with my parents. They used to have a problem with me when I would bring girls around that are 10, 15. And, I would have to explain to my, I'm like, Mom, I'm like, they know what's going on. They know what they're getting into. I'm like, I'm not lying to these women about my age, and a lot of it was, well, a woman your own age, you can talk to her about more stuff, or she may be this, that. And I'm like, Mom, I've dated women of all. Because when I was in my mid 20s, I was attracted to older women, actually. And um, I find you have the same problems in general, whether no matter how old the woman really is. But I think a lot of it is, I notice too, as you get older, women mostly, but men will do it too. Like the guy that brought up the question, I don't really know what his motive was. Maybe just wanted the discussion, but they do it to try to shame men because older women, they don't like it when men in their age group, 45, they don't like it when they're dating younger women. But that's kind of what's ingrained in our DNA, like, right? Like women peak, their sexual marketplace value starts when they're 18 and it peaks and it starts to drop when they reach their 30s. Men's, because a woman's sexual marketplace value is based off of her looks. She doesn't need to bring anything to take. A man's sexual marketplace value is based on what he can provide, his resources, on what he can provide. And men don't get into that stride until early
35.
30s, peak
Okay.
about around the 30s.
Okay.
So they're able then, they have then a wide choice of women that they can choose from. But a lot of this conversation about men, older men with young, now I know we have the outliers, right? 70, in the Philippines, 70-year-old men, and then, an 18-year-old or something, right? That's a whole nother conversation. But um, I'm talking 10, 15 years or whatever, something like that. Um, I feel it's a way that people try to shame men to do that to keep them in check, because the dating pool for women that are in their 30s and 40s, especially ones that have children, it's very limited. Like once a man is in his 35, 36, 40, let's say he doesn't have any kids, he's on his stride, he's making 150, $200,000 a year. Why does he want to date a 45-year-old with 3 kids when he can date a 30-year-old with no kids or maybe one kid? So I think a lot of that, it's more about shaming men in order to control them.
I can ask
Anyway,
a
so that's,
question. My question is this: is how many times have you been shamed by these women? How many women have you
I
come across within the past
well, I,
5 years
mean in
that shamed
general, from what I see in conversations, and I have had people say things to me and stuff like that, right? It like it's happened off, like they'll say little snide little things or something like that.
you?
So
How
I
many
can't.
times within the past 10 years has that happened to you?
Oh, probably none because I haven't dated any women here in
Okay.
America.
So
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 no
once
no
again, that's so
so no
exactly.
no.
See what I knew word per word what you were about to say. I even told you what year it was going to be when you said mid 30s. I said 35 the moment you said that. And I understand. I am very red pilled. I'm a red pilled person, and I understand
I
Yeah.
was
I
just gonna
understand
say, sounds like a script.
I understand the conversation that
Well,
you were saying, but there's a thing that you're missing that a lot of red pill guys talk about that does not they don't share. Number one, you start talking about sexual marketplace value of a man is based on his income, right?
No, not just his
Once he
income. Not
what
only his income, his status, his
exactly.
income, his
So
status,
so so
his
so
his
let's
physique. There's a few different things.
so okay. So now we're
His
going to
personality.
the now
But
we're start talking about chads and all these things, right? So there's a lot of
no,
guys.
it doesn't have to be a Chad. We're not talking about Chads.
Okay,
That's
so
kind of a
when
derogatory.
Chad is not a derogatory word.
Okay, go ahead.
So here's the thing with that, right? most guys' sexual marketplace, if you're going with the SMVs, all right, if that's the conversation we're getting into, when we start talking about this stuff, there's a lot of guys that don't have to. It's pretty much how they carry themselves. See, the truth,
True.
in regards for a man, his sexual marketplace value is how can he approach a woman? Because I know plenty of guys who are buffed, who are freaking Adonises looking men, but they can't get women and they complain about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
The
Yep,
thing though is
that's true.
to be able to create a marketplace is you actually need to be in the market. And that's why I asked you this question: is how many women has this happened to you? You're talking about women are using this to shame men, but you have not experienced it, right?
Because
So
it's men. Mike, let me cut you off. It's not. It's men. It's society in general. It's not so just to say a woman has. It's society in general. You can see it with everything. It's not
I
just
get it,
specific certain things. It's
but I
society,
understand.
media. It's in general. Men are shamed. You can turn on The View. You can turn on any woman show on TV during the
I
day.
understand. I
So to
understand.
say, so to try
I
to
think I
put me in a
know.
corner and say
I think
how many
I'd like
times
to
has it
say
happened to
something
you
here,
and it
possible.
hasn't, therefore it doesn't exist. That's just not true.
No, I didn't say that it
If
does
that's
not
where you were going,
exist.
if that's where you were going. I don't know where you were going.
It
Sorry, I cut
wasn't
you
where
So
I'm
off.
you
Go ahead.
going.
excuse me,
Of
you
course.
gotta let him talk. Let him finish his thoughts before
Yeah, I
Okay.
you
am. Go
kind
ahead,
of
Mike. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
assume. Oh, wait, this is where you know what I mean. Let him finish. Let him. If he's gonna talk for 5 minutes, let him get it out, and then you can say, okay, that
Yeah,
is not what I mean, or you know what I mean. Let him
yeah,
say
yeah.
it.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Don't be so jumpy.
So what I'm saying is that the reason why for me wise, like, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. I don't got muscles like Alex over there. I don't, I'm not a fighter and stuff
I'm
like
gonna
that.
wear a regular T-shirt next time.
So I'm not all about learning Muay Thai and stuff like that. All right, but in regards to that is for me wise, I actually go in the marketplace, and here's the thing, right? Women should shame men. That's my thing. You want to know why I say women should shame men? Is because that's the thing. That's called shit test. Will actually use a shit test of men to see can you pass the test and go to the next level. Like if a woman says, for example, like you know what, I'm busy. That's fine. I got a boyfriend. I'm not here to become your boyfriend. Like men should start learning how to go past it. That's why guys end up the guys who are with these girls and a lot of these guys is because they actually shoot the shot. They took the shot to have a conversation. Most men unfortunately will hear these type of conversations and they check out. They're like, oh, she's not gonna, she's being a B word. She's being this. No, they're testing you. Because why they've heard the same exact approach by a lot of guys already. Like, how do you differentiate yourself as a man is what's gonna make it beneficial for you as much as possible. And that's why I asked you, like, how many times has it happened to you? Because that's the thing. Like, and here's the honest question. How many girls that you don't know that you were
How
truly
many times
like,
did it happen to you, Mike? How many times did it happen
huh?
to you, Mike? How many times did
How
it
many times
happen
did
to
it happen?
you?
Who's asking me?
You know
The
what
one
I'm
in the bottom?
talking about. You know what I'm talking about. How many times did it happen to you? Just be
Okay, so
honest.
show your face in the camera.
He came in
I don't
strong.
think that's the guy that's talking, is it?
It's not him. It's a fake video. If he's not talking.
Oh,
This is a fake video.
how is this a fake?
Oh,
Well,
okay.
see,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
He doesn't like you, Mike. What's going on?
yeah. So, anyways, but
I
see,
kicked him
to answer
out.
that particular question, to answer that particular question, okay, if how many times has it happened to me?
Hey,
When I wanted to learn how to be able to meet with
can you
people,
feed him real quick
right?
when
I
you finish?
truly put myself out there. I went out every day for a whole 60 days straight. Bars, clubs,
I'm live.
learn how to get shot down, because then you build up scars. Then you build up, okay, this is not how I handle the conversation. This is not how I do an opener with someone. Oh, if I stack several things on how I have my conversations, do I actually do you have, like, let's say for example, a set of 5, you can say, because if you can start using SMB, do you have anything to be able to create a development of higher value, a DHV for yourself on stacking conversations? See, women is, truthfully looking to a lot of women. A lot of the women sometimes they have, because of hypergamy, which is a positive thing for women. Women should be
Yeah,
hypergamous
it
because
should
they
have.
have to
Right.
choose the best mate possible. And how do they choose the
Right.
best mate possible? Is to disqualify a lot of the men that are not willing to go to the next level. And so the guys who are willing
But
to be
I
in there,
don't understand where you're going with what that has to do with what I was saying as far as putting yourself out there talk, right? So I don't approach
Mhm.
45-year-old women, so they wouldn't have said anything. I'm engaged to get
Sure,
married now, but
that's awesome.
I didn't approach. So I think you might be confused, or maybe now I understand the question. You're saying what women have said that to me as if I was talking to a woman that I was trying to get with, and then she shamed me. I'm just talking about in general, but I would never. And that's exactly the point in time when, let's say, a woman of that age, let's say you were talking, and let's say you said your ex was younger than her or something like that, and
Mhm,
she might do that. She might shame, right? But I've never been in a
mhm.
situation where I have been talking to a woman that was my age, and then she, that I can recall, that I was trying to get with or
Yeah.
something like that. But so I do understand, I went through that phase of getting game and all, being able to talk to women in my younger years when I was
Mhm.
17, 18, going to the high school dance clubs that you could get in when you were under 18. I live in Florida and stuff like that. I went through all that. So since my 21, 22, I could go up and just talk to any woman about anything and start a conversation. I wasn't worried about rejection or anything like that. I was able to handle that. So, um, I'm not really sure where you were going with. I guess
No, so
maybe if I was talking to
yeah,
someone that age or something like that.
and I do apologize. I should have said it doesn't matter in regards for women who are 45 or 20. Like women in general will shame men depending if now there's a shaming tactic for objections, but they're just straight up they're shaming you because they don't see that you have the right to talk to them. Right? And that's the thing is like we have to be able to create a determination. Are they shaming you because they're just s testing you, poop testing you, or are they truly just shaming you? And it doesn't matter what the
Right.
age
That's
is. And I
right.
and I understand what the
Yeah,
45 you said early on. These girls, they're trying to protect their territory. They're like, young girls, stay away from our men because we only have a few left that's available for us.
yeah,
Does that exist? Of course they do
yeah,
exist.
yeah.
And it's unfortunate that some of those toxic women, unfortunately, those type of women who are toxic that way is for the reason that they dated older before, and then now they and so
Yeah.
and it's just part of that, and it's unfortunate. And like you said, you're not going to
And
approach the 45-year-old, and
yeah,
I can respect that. I mean, I think that's
yeah.
that's
And but
pretty fair for
before
all
I
of us.
forget about the shaming, they shouldn't be shaming men for their preferences, right? Because men don't shame women for their preferences. So why are they shaming men? Why are they shaming men for men's preferences? That's a
Are you
double
saying
standard there.
there's plenty of men that shame women?
I don't shame for what? For what preferences? Are there do you for what
Just
preferences?
because you don't, we do see men
Yes, please.
shaming women.
There
Yeah.
are some men, some simps that can't they shame them, the one won't talk to them, right? But
Wait, just a
but
second.
No.
go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
have to because I caught most of this, but I missed a couple pieces. But are you saying that women are shaming men about age gap
Soc-
relationships?
Society in general will shame men for that.
And
Um,
Like DiCaprio, the media,
Can
women,
I
they
ask the
shame him for
question? Do
what?
you care? I mean, I don't.
that's a good question.
I mean,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
doesn't matter.
Actually, I do, because we're
Why?
getting on a whole nother topic now. But if you
Mm.
look back, men for the past 60 or 70 years, men have been, I would say, what's the word I'm looking for? Put down, shamed, um,
Yeah.
told us we're no good. I'll give you an example.
Uh,
Anytime you see a movie, anytime and I've gone, because I've been a single dad. I was a single dad for many years. I had custody of my child. But anytime they talk about single dads or anything like that, or you'll see a movie and it's like a cop and he's kind of like a road cop, or he's retired now, he's the detective, and they always show it to where, and then he's got to go get his kid, and then he doesn't make it, and the kid's waiting for him. They always, this is, they do this with everything. They do that. Media does that with
I
everything.
don't buy that. I mean, you've been watching too many episodes of
No.
Three Men. All right.
No.
Are you watching Rolo
I mean,
Tomasky
leaving
thing?
Jake
You watch
at the
Rolo
soccer club. Look, let me tell you
well,
something.
Let me
He
ask you
does.
this.
100%
Let
he
me
does.
let me ask you
100%.
this. How many
100%.
times have you heard the term? How many times have you
100%.
heard the term? How many? What have you heard more? The term deadbeat mom or deadbeat dad?
Deadbeat dad, because the vast majority of them are. All right, let's look at let's define that for a
That's not the
second.
statistics. Hold on, that's not the statistics. If you
Oh
look at
my
the
God.
census, the statistics of
Okay.
what women
Let's-
are ordered to pay child support versus men that are
Okay.
ordered to pay child support, more women do not pay child support.
I got to tell you,
Okay.
all right.
There are women
Let
that
me tell you
pay
from
child
That's a
support.
experience.
fact. That's
There
data.
are
Hey, can
That's
I
data.
say something real quick? Can I
Go
say
ahead.
something real
First
quick?
off, let's.
It's
I'm going to start
okay.
muting people. Go ahead, Alex.
It's always been like this. Okay. Things have never been fair for women. Things have never been fair for. It's not equally. It's not equal. Okay. We know the risks. We know what can happen. Right. So if I put myself in a situation where it's going to bring some, it's a possibility that it's going to bring something bad to me. I cannot start saying it's not fair. Oh, you know what I mean? It's like you knew the risks.
I'm not saying it's
You know what
not
I mean?
fair.
Like that's what I'm
I'm just
asking. Let
saying
me finish. Let me finish. I know you're kind of like you like to like you jumpy, bro. No, relax a little bit, okay? Relax a little bit. Let me talk. Like you know, let talking. You know, let me keep talking because my Georgians brought me a coffee. So this is what I live in Asia. Anyway,
Yeah.
what I was saying is earlier asked why do you care. Now I understand why you care because it's something personal to you, right? That's why you care.
No,
No,
not just
okay, go ahead.
personal. I'll
Okay.
explain why. Because I won custody of my son. My son's 21. I won custody
Mhm.
of him 20 years ago, and well, he was 2. I filed when he was 9 months old because his mother was keeping him from me. So it wasn't. She wasn't a bad mother. Like a lot of men win. Like like men normally win because she's an unfit mother, right? So they didn't really win. It's just it was kind of whatever. His mom was a good mom. Her problem was she was kind of limiting my access to him, and I just that was my argument to the court, and that's what Florida looks at. The main things they look at: which child is more likely to have a relationship with the other parents, stuff like that. So over that period of time, especially back then, when people knew that I had won custody of my son, I got friends, family members, a friend of a friend, guys constantly calling me, talking to me, asking me for tips that are going through the same situation. But that, along with the last, I don't know, 10, 15, whenever they started Facebook groups, I've been in these single dads group, and I see what they go through and what happens and how unfair the system is with them for domestic violence and all sorts of other stuff. And even just something as simple as when a woman loses her job, all she has to do is text one of the guys back that's been one of the 4 guys that's been texting her that she has no interest in, that she's been trying to get with for however long, and she can move in. But men, what do men do? What are a lot of these single dads and they're living out of their cars. Once he
Okay,
loses his
wait.
job, he has no value. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. I've seen, so to answer your question, I've seen it more as now. I've over the period of time I've been in the groups and I see what's going on with this man. And then I just noticed other thing. Like a few years ago when Michelle Obama was on stage and she said,
Okay, wait.
I don't know
Wait.
who she was talking about. He's
Wait,
like, oh,
Kenny.
he's the step. He's like,
Kenny.
go ahead. Sorry,
Kenny,
Mike. Go ahead.
wait. All right. First off, 2 things. I'm going to put the timer up. Each of you gets 3 minutes. Then I mute you
Okay.
if you don't shut up. All right. Secondly, Mike has something to say. Alex has something to say. And I think Sense of Style has something to say. So let's start. Let us start with Mike. Go ahead.
So here's the thing. I want you to look around your room right now, Kenny. I want you to look for something
Okay.
for red stuff around your room. Do you see red stuff around your room? Look around. Look around right now and look for red
Red?
stuff. Red. Look around. No,
Red?
just look around. You don't have to lift it up. Look around your. Look for red stuff. I want you to start thinking about red stuff right now. Now turn around right
Uh,
here. Turn around to me. Turn around to me. Turn around. Close your eyes. Think of now. Name me the stuff that are blue.
Name me the stuff that is blue.
Mhm.
I know exactly where you're
My
going with
bed
this.
sheet. My bed sheet's blue. The sweatpants
Okay.
I'm wearing are blue.
Okay.
Um, my shoes
Okay.
on the
Good. Now
floor are
open your
blue.
eyes. Now open your
Okay.
eyes. It still took you
Okay.
a few more seconds to think about that. And the reason why I did that, and even Alex should notice what I did, is because what happens is what's in
100%.
front of you is what you choose to see and what you end up seeing. Now, I'm not discounting the fact that you had to go through that. And I apologize. And I'm really truly sorry that you had to go through that with custodies and all that stuff. I'm glad that she was a good mom. It's just the time that vanished from you. But at any given moment, we can always see that in by far average, people are good and amazing people. By far majority, people are good. It's unfortunate there are bad things that happen to people, to good people. Okay. Now, and I get it, but there's a lot of instances it just goes both ends. We can play this game,
Oh,
all
that's
this
true.
stuff,
True.
but just like
Yeah.
what Alex was saying is like, why care about what happens with everything else? And just look at that. You were putting yourself in a Facebook group among men who are having problems. And mind you,
Oh,
it is true problems that were happening to them. But the thing though is those groups, because they all have problems, it becomes a sludge of people with problems. And then you start absorbing all that negative energy. And it's unfortunately the whole confirmation bias. Because look, everyone around me, this is happening. Now, that the thing that's most important is what you do and what you take every day of your life. Like you choose to be able to be around those people or you choose to be able to meet good people. That's why I asked you early on today, how many people have you approached within this past 10 years? Right? And that's the thing. For you to be able to see that there are good women out there, that they're not going to shame you, is to be able to put yourself around these women so that they don't shame you. Are there going to be some? Of course. But by far majority, if you better yourself on having approach, know how to have conversations, be better at, escalating yourself with women or even just in general, you're going to have a really positive outlook in that stuff. I choose to look in the front and keep going, then look in the rear of what happened to me back then. Even if the truth that there's a lot of bad things that happen. I give up my time, speaker.
Okay.
Will the speaker yield?
All right. Sense of style.
Okay. You know, one of the things that kind of was surprising, and since I've been kind of at this since around 2001, I used to make a lot of trips to Colombia, and back in those days, they had this thing called direct counselor filing, and what it meant was if somebody married a foreign woman, they go to the consulate and they file, and within maybe a day or two, they get their certificate and they get on the plane and go to the U.S. Now it sounds kind of outlandish because it takes years nowadays, but there was something called IMBRA laws, IMBRA, and that put an end to all that. Well, who put an end to it? The feminists did, because they were losing ground, and they knew they knew that if somebody could just go to the Philippines or Colombia, Peru, or whatever, and they meet a gal they like, and they just get married and they get on the plane. And so that they put an end to that, and now it takes like a year, or well, at one time it would take about 6 months. I think it's a lot longer nowadays. But now the thing about shaming, that's interesting. But I think what happens is like, say for instance, if you're interested in a woman, now what happens is it's not really shaming, it's jealousy. There's jealous friends, and they talk this woman out of it. And you can't really stop people from talking whatever, talking trash or whatever. But that's I think that's where it comes from. You say, well, did the woman actually shame you in person? No, but I think her friends kind of got upset and they saw that maybe you were a good guy and you didn't want them, but you wanted her, and now you got problems, because that does happen. Now there's some women that say, "Well, forget it. I'm just going to go with this guy, and you can do whatever you want," and that happens too. But anyway, it looks like my time is running out, and I don't know if I made any good points, but anyway, that's what I wanted to say about that, and I guess that's about it.
All right, Alex, you can be next. And then hold
Yeah,
on, wait, just one thing real quick. Um, Arlene's having an issue at the airport for just a minute. Not an issue at the airport. She's got 4 minors in the car coming back. I need to make a phone call, so I'm going to drop my video out for a minute for a private phone call, but I'm still here. I'll be right back. Go ahead.
I'm just gonna mirror what Miki said about if if you surround yourself with negativity, that's all you're gonna know. If now again, you've been on those groups with people are going through what you're going, and you're actually in there to help people. You're actually in there. Maybe you have a non-profit, or you're a lawyer, or you have some YouTube videos where you're sharing, you know, guidance and advice to help people out. Then it's a little bit different. But if you are in those groups just to complain next to the other people that are complaining as well, then to me, I mean, if you want to do that, it makes you happy, then, you go ahead. But to me, it doesn't make sense. I can run down a list of things that are wrong in my life, or that they have been wrong throughout my life, because I have a never ending list. But those things that were wrong in my life, and those things that continue to be wrong in my life, I find a way to change those things. I don't go into, I don't surround myself with negativity or people that are going through the same thing that I can kind of get out of and then complain about it. I just don't live like that. I always say it is what it is. If something goes wrong, I was going to say something else, but I don't know if, I don't want this video to be demonetized. But if something goes wrong, I fix it. It's really that simple. And if I cannot fix it, and if it's not going to kill me, I just keep it moving. I do. It's not that I don't care, because if you know me, everybody that knows me, they know I'm a kind person. I'm not rude. I don't go around insulting people. You know what I mean? Now, if something comes to me the wrong way, then we can handle it. But other than that, Nika can tell you, I always say good morning, excuse me, whatever. I'm very polite. I'm very kind. But again, if I don't surround myself with negativity, and now I have a YouTube channel, and I get a lot of people that they come, they come at me sideways, right? Most of the time,
Yeah, yeah.
I make fun of it. Most of the time, I find it entertaining, because if I sit there and take in all that negativity, it's gonna make me a bitter person. It's gonna make me angry, and why do I want that? I live in Thailand, I have a great life, I have a beautiful woman. You know what I mean? I don't understand when people surround themselves with negativity. I'm not saying that's you. I just met you today for the first time, but you kind of coming across a little bit angry. Even the way you interrupt people. Somebody's talking, you're like, "Ugh!" like you even jump out of your chair
I
to kind of make a point.
yeah, I
Hey,
get a
hey, I'm
little
talking. See, now you just did it. You just did it just now with my time. You just proved my point. That's okay. Go ahead. My time is up. You
yeah.
just that
I was just
was
saying,
beautiful.
I
That
when
was
I get in
beautiful.
debates, I get excited. I do get excited, and I come off a little but I'm never like angry at anybody. Nothing's ever personal. I don't know why. My whole life, when I get into conversations, I get overly excited. But
But listen,
anyways,
let me
but back,
talk. Let me tell you. Let me
yeah,
tell
yeah.
you. Let
Go
me
ahead.
tell you. Right
Yeah, go
now,
ahead,
when
go
I
ahead.
was talking, I can see you flinching. I can see you going, kind of doing this and doing this, and I can see you. You ready to like make your point. You're ready to tell me I'm wrong. You're ready to tell me,
No,
just
nope.
listen. Okay, okay, I'm wrong.
Okay,
I'm wrong. The way you
my
jump on
turn.
me at
I'm
the
doing it.
end,
My
I'm doing
turn.
it so I don't
My
forget. I'm
turn.
doing. If you notice,
Now it's my
I.
turn. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
write it down if you don't
Now
forget.
it's
Get a
my
pen and a
turn.
paper.
I did.
Get a
All
pen and a
right.
paper. Write it down so you don't forget. Don't
Now
interrupt
it's
people.
my
That's what
turn.
I'm saying.
Look, I've lost 15 seconds of my time. All right. Look, here's the deal. All right. I'm a single father. I was a single father. I got custody of my child, although much later at the point that you got custody. All right. I have seen these Facebook groups of men that whine and cry about how unfair uh, custody situations are in the U.S. And in some instances, they're correct. But I can tell you, many instances, they are not. All right. They are full of shit. All right. They you know what? They think that they are entitled. You want to know about women that pay child support? Okay. My ex-wife was ordered to pay. The judge had a very difficult time. It's like both of you are high income earners. So it's only fair that she should pay 50% because it's equal. And because my ex wife was a high income earner as well. And the judge slammed her with $1,700 a month for one kid. All right. I turned it down. I just said, keep the money. Don't worry. That's it. All of these things are what they are, but I'm more interested in Chris Coggins, who's sitting over there putting together what looks like a still. I mean,
Like, I want to know what he's making. Are we making gin?
Yeah,
Are
I
we
was
what are you
making
already
what are we
making over
curious.
making?
there,
What are you
Chris?
making, bro?
Vodka?
What is that?
Moonshine.
I'm making a moonshine still, and I'm just,
I knew
Oh,
I
it.
logged
I was this
on to
close.
I, I logged on to talk about how Mike is the Perez Hilton of the Philippines. As far as a blogger.
Okay.
I don't know about that. I mean, come on. I'm just a,
Yeah,
but that looks like you've done some high end welding. It looks nice. It's good and
let's take a look.
shiny. Show us how does look at that. Oh, he's hiding. His holy shit, he's got a hold this. What are you doing? Are you making
wait,
stills for sale?
you make all of that like from scratch?
Yes, every one of these
Wow,
are made from scratch, American owned, American made moonshine stills.
that's crazy.
Is that
That's
legal
interesting.
in the
That's very interesting.
US or should I not be asking?
Yes, yes, it's legal.
I
This
mean,
guy doesn't want to be on camera. When you
wow.
ask if it was legal,
Wow. Well, there's a lot to be said about American tradesmanship. That's for sure. All right.
Yeah.
I
That's right.
think, but I'm going to yield my time back over to Mike, and then we'll
Yeah.
come down to you, Chris.
Yeah,
All right.
Mike Perez Hilton of Philippines. Yes, absolutely.
All right. So what's the question about me being Perez Hilton?
No question. It's more of a common statement. It's
Okay.
not a question.
Well, then we have a conversation to have about that. It's okay. So what you don't just like say a comment that you're the Perez Hilton, which is, hey, listen, he made a lot of money. But the question is like, okay, so what from there?
Yeah. Just merely the gossip king. That's all relatively.
Okay, so what did I gossip about?
Channel 13 News, the Philippines edition.
Hold on, what did I gossip about?
What are we gossiping about now?
Yeah, what's the gossip? I'm waiting. What's the gossip? What did I gossip about? What did I talk about that's not true?
Just in general, you're just a fucking loser. And
No,
Oh,
that's that's
okay.
the funny part is like, it's funny how you have guys like you to do this. And mind you, you're doing a great job with
guys
with your
like
business
me.
and stuff like
How
that.
about guys like you? How about guys like you? Don't let's not gossip about guys like me. Let's just remain focused on guys like you.
And the focus is here, so I'm trying to make sure that we have a conversation about it. But all you have is a bunch of ad hominems. You have nothing, no statement, no nothing. You just say you're this, you're that. Is that how men should talk, or can we have a logical
Yes.
back and forth on here?
No back and forth. It was just a statement. If it hurts your
And that's the thing.
belongings
And
and
so you right
your
now
heart,
are in your little toxic feminine state right now because I'm here.
toxic,
You want to have a conversation. You jumped into this. I'm right here, and all you
What's
have
the address?
is this.
What's
So the thing though is you're just going back and forth. Now I know you're busy, but the fun fact is all you have is that, and that's just a pathetic thing.
oh,
I didn't realize it was pathetic.
What?
I had
Oh, it's
no
very
idea.
pathetic. I know. It's just so sad.
I'm just not going to deal with that.
hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's up, man?
No, the other Mike.
Oh,
How
me?
many pillows you have? I'm just looking at your background. You got like 4 pillows stuck on top of each other. I'm just curious.
Let me see here.
I just know. I just noticed that.
Oh, I screwed this up. Wait a minute.
Where'd you go, Mike?
Hang on. I'm gonna get
He's
there.
ashamed of his pillows.
There we go. I'm ashamed. Yeah.
He just named him on his pillows.
It's 4 pillows. You know what it is? It's our spare bedroom. All right. This is my office. All right.
I got one of those. Yeah.
It's the spare bedroom. It's whatever my wife throws up there. Let's see.
Sometimes you.
Well, he just keeps joining. That's not going to work for me. So either way, all right.
It's just silly for him to join. He's busy and he just insulting
busy,
people.
he's not
I
doing
mean, what? That don't make any sense.
Yeah. When he's in the green,
I attract it.
When he's in the green room, I can see him.
I get it all the time too, but it's just stupid.
So he can try joining all he wants, but he can't. So let me think here.
A female wanting to come into the house. Let me in.
Yeah, let's get a female.
Right,
oh, there's Chippy Whiska. I don't know what happened, but welcome back. What is the man behind the mask? This is not like he keeps trying to come in, and this is not like 1970s internet. You can't flood the channel. All right. This is not like IRC where you could. I don't know. Did any of you guys ever do IRC by any chance?
What is that?
IRC is the original. Before Yahoo Chat, before AOL, before
I'm AOL time.
All right,
that's my time.
AOL. There was what's called Internet Relay Chat. Okay, IRC. That was the original basis of the worldwide chat connections, and.
Is that in the military?
No, well, actually, I think the military.
I was in the military.
I think the military. It was developed by the military.
The military did.
Yeah, I think the military did develop it. But you would set up your own room and you could have moderators and this and that. But what was fun was you could program like bots, domain bots, and you could flood a room, block it, and once the room is blocked out, all right, it knocks everybody out, shuts down the room. So the first person to, like if my room was like, puppies are cute, if I went in and put in puppies are cute, then I would be taking over that domain. And what he was trying to do was flood the room. Now, Kuya John is in the Oh, that's not Kuya John. This guy just keeps trying. So, anyways, all right. So, who's next? Mike, were you up next? Alex, who was up next?
No,
Well, I had my
we
3 minutes, but
Mike,
I
we went
spent it with
Mike,
the guy trying to get
California,
him.
Alex, then back to Mike.
Give it
So
3 minutes back to Mike because the guy kind of started crying too much.
Yeah, give Mike back. Give Mike back his
Give
because the
Mike
guy didn't
back.
engage with.
okay,
Give
so
Yeah,
Mike
we
back
I
all
get
to
we
mine
all
back.
agree.
There
Like
you go, Mike.
this is just something the unfortunate that happens in this space, guys. I mean, with as you guys can see, I get this a lot. And the thing though is a lot of these guys are unfortunately just mad sometimes because I'm like for me, wise, I just popped the bubble. I'm like, let's just have the reality, and so that's what you end up seeing is guys are just mad. And then mind you, he had a good business going on. I really enjoyed that. And it's just unfortunate. It's like, okay, well, let's have the conversation. Most of these guys don't want to have the conversation. They just want to hit you with all these different things, and it's just sad how it goes. But anyways, where are we? What's the main conversation right now that we're in? Because that guy, I'm lost. Where are we at right now?
Pillows. We were talking about pillows.
Pillows. I got 6 pillows, so
you guys were telling me how I'm always hanging around negative people.
No, we didn't say that. You come across like
No.
that. We didn't
I'm
say you
making
are.
Alex, I'm making light of the situation. Take it easy.
Well, I
Man.
don't know. I just met you. I don't know if you are or not.
Yeah. Dude. I don't take anything personal.
Now I
I
know.
got a
Now I
really
know.
good sense of humor,
I,
black sense of humor.
I got that from the get go. I don't think you take anything personally. I don't
Yeah,
think it like you take
nah,
offense to what we're saying. I don't.
nah, man.
For sure.
I'm about making friends.
Yeah.
In the end, it's just you guys are taking my time. Damn it! Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
We take.
I still got a minute 33 seconds. All right, respect the authority. No, but
We took notes from the other guy.
I think in the end, it's like about having these type of conversations. It's important having understand that there's going to be polarity among everybody. We're not going to have our experiences in life that leads us to maybe this particular niche has different paths that took us there, right? But it's a matter of like learning from people, and it's also important what that guy popped up as well, right? What we can learn from there is that what it is like they don't want to learn. They just want to keep their way of thinking, and that's the problematic stuff. Those are the type of guys that ends up in the Philippines, ends up in Thailand, pretty much with a hangover movie setup that's happening to them. It's unfortunate they're going to have the problems because they decided on one guru or whatever you want to call people. I'm not trying to be an expert or a guru. I'm just trying to give my part of things, just like as Mike gives his part, just like as Alex will give his part. As a matter of fact, if people want to know and understand, Alex has more experience because he actually goes back and forth in the Philippines and in Thailand. So he has the capability to be able to really compare and contrast things of what he sees and what he doesn't see. That's even more important when you see something like that. That's all I have to say right now. I'm done, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, I actually live in the Philippines for 6 years, and now I have been in Thailand for almost 5 years. So, yeah, I've been in both places. I have lived in both places. I still go back to the Philippines. Last time I went back actually with my girlfriend, who's from Thailand. So that was very interesting for her to see what Philippine life is about and what I kind of experienced when I lived there. She will visit again. I don't think it's for her to live there because she was just to visit is good, but for her, she didn't take it as a place where she will move. We're going to go to Vietnam next week. So I've been there many times, but she hasn't. So it's always good I like taking her places like that because then when we put out videos, people can see what women out here are like and what women out here think of things without or what she does. Well, not all women, of course. I don't want to say all women, but it's good to get a perspective of people that want to move to this side of the world and maybe they want to be in a relationship. So what I do with my videos is we show ourselves doing things without me preaching and saying, this is why you need to move here. This is how women are here. I just show how she is, how I am, and then people can make a choice if they want to experience this, or they can kind of have a baseline of what to expect. Especially if you're my age, right? Like we go back to age gap. We are her and I are 25 years apart. I'm going to turn 50 in July, and she just turned 25 last month. So it also gives an insight of our relationship and having that age gap for people that are wondering how that works out. So yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Oh,
I'll tell you what, folks. I hate to do this, but Arlene is on her way, and if I don't get a few things done here that I made a mess of after she left for the airport this morning, I'm going to get in serious trouble. I do appreciate everybody coming in. And those of you that are watching and have watched, please comment in the live and let us know what you think of this format. Whether you think this is a good format, whether you want to see lives like this, and would you like to see a routine weekly live with a panel of people. And we will do our best to recruit a couple of females into the panel to be able to give their perspective as well. I think it's good to see both sides of everybody's opinions. But look, guys, thanks so much for spending time. I really appreciate it. And everybody else,
thank you, Mike.
Have a great day.
Yep.
See you guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
Nice meeting you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.